Alright gamers, today I want to talk about the first 5 video games I ever owned as a kid on the NES, so let's get started. So the first one is, Super Mario Brothers, because it came packaged with the NES. And I was actually the first kid on my block to own an NES. Of course, later on it seemed like everybody ended up getting an NES because it was just part of growing up in the US. But I got one very early on. I think it was the first holiday season that it launched. I ended up getting one because my birthday is in November, and of course they released it for that holiday season. But Super Mario, it was so different from anything you had played before. Before the NES came out, all you had basically was Atari games and anything at the arcade. And if you took Super Mario Brothers and compared it to anything on the market that day, it just couldn't hold up. I mean, there were secrets in this game with the hidden pipes, there were one-ups, there were multi-leveled stages. It was just a very unique experience at the time. Duck Hunt is another one of those games that every kid has probably played because for a while there they did package Duck Hunt along with the NES system. Now I can't remember if my version actually came packaged with the NES or if I had to buy it separately, but I ended up getting the copy that was separate from the Super Mario Brothers, because later on they ended up merging both these titles in one cartridge. But before that time, it was a single cartridge, and of course it's a game where you go around and shooting ducks that fly around the screen with your light zapper. Very, very innovative game, and kids loved playing this for hours on end, like I did too. And who can forget that dog who comes out and mocks you if you couldn't hit one of the ducks? I think just about everybody wanted to shoot that dog with the light gun. Of course, they never gave you that chance. But this was a game that, just everybody who's ever played it in the 1980s is nostalgic over. So the first Christmas that I had an NES, one of the first games that I got was Popeye. There wasn't too many games out at this time, so Popeye kind of fit the bill. But I can't tell you how many hours I logged in with this stinking game. I couldn't get that far in it, but there's Bluto, and there's an evil witch where I don't know where she came from. I don't remember seeing her in the cartoon, but this was actually modeled off an arcade game of the same name, and it just provided extra hours of entertainment when I got bored with Super Mario Brothers or Duck Hunt. So another game I got that holiday season was Mock Rider, and I absolutely hated this game. My uncle got me this one, and this is a game I could not get very far in. I don't know if it was because I was a kid or what, but I just hated this game. So I ended up taking this game back, and this was back before all these stores had restrictions on, the video game, if it's opened, you can't return it. This was before any of that occurred. So if you didn't like a game, you could take it back and get a different one. And that's exactly what I did with Mock Rider. I think I owned it a total of 2 hours before I took it back. But I ended up taking it back, and then I got my 5th game, which is Ghosts and Goblins. And of course, that was my 5th review that I ever did as the Irate Gamer. And the hatred that I had for this game has carried over for many, many years. Because when I first got this game, I put it in, and man, as hard as I tried, I could not get that far. So this was a game where you play it and you pretty much instantly die. You had to really master these boards or you would not get very far at all. In fact, a couple years later, after owning this game, I ended up finding a code for Ghosts and Goblins in an issue of Nintendo Power, where it said, hey, insert this code and you can play, any level that you wish. So, of course, I just had to do that. And when I played the later levels, my God, I lasted maybe a fraction of a second before dying. So just the later you get in this game, the harder it becomes. And man, what a nightmare. I just loved to hate this game. Alright guys, there you go. There's the first 5 video games I ever owned on the NES. And in the comment section, hey, let me know what your first 5 games were if you can remember them. And also, make sure you check out the new History of Video Games where I reviewed the Magnavox Odyssey 2, as well as my Irate Gamer Show, which I reviewed Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! It wasn't one of the first 5 games I had, but it was probably in the first 10 or 15 that I owned. So, yeah, game on.